Welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. Good evening. This is your match preview, Leicester City versus Sheffield Wednesday. This weekend at home at the King Power Stadium. The first match preview, the first match week of the 25-26 championship season. And boy, am I looking forward to this. Football is back. For a little while, this game looked like it might not go ahead because of the chaos going on at Sheffield Wednesday, but it has been confirmed that this match will be going ahead, so we can preview it. We can get on a view from a Sheffield Wednesday fan, not only looking at the game, but what's going on there at the moment. But first, let's take a look at our Leicester City side, who we could see out there this weekend. So here we are. It is time to look at what squad we think, what we would like to see start versus Sheffield Wednesday. Now, in the past, when we've done match previews, we've gone with the most predictable 11, the one that we think we will see. I'm going to make that slightly different from now on, and I'm actually going to put out the team that I personally would like to see face Sheffield Wednesday in that opener of the season this weekend. So we're going to start off with the goalkeeper, and look, I'm aware that that Mads Hermansen is on the verge of a move to West Ham. However, I think as long as the best players are fit and available and there's no imminent move, then I think they should start. And I think Mads Hermansen gives us the best possible chance of winning this game over Jakob. Now, Jakob will, of course, or probably will be the number one goalkeeper going forward. And I would understand the argument that maybe he should start it. But for me, just like we saw in the Fiorentina game, Mads Hermansen started that one. He played that one. I do think he should start this weekend against Sheffield Wednesday. That move to West Ham could easily fall through. And this guy is our number one, or not our number one literally, because that is still our chick. But, you know, he could be the guy between the sticks this season. So I'm going to go with Mads Hermansen in goal. Okay, moving on to the back four. And look, I think if you were to ask me who is my preferred option at right back in the long term, it's going to be one of Ricardo Pereira or James Justin. Of course it is. But both of these players were injured and did miss the Fiorentina game, so it's not as clear. I think Hamza Chowdhury did play the Fiorentina game, and he is my pick for the first game against Sheffield Wednesday. This guy here has had a great preseason, in my opinion. He has been... he's really suited Martí Cifuentes' system so far, in my opinion. He's been finding himself in all types of positions, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Of course, Ricardo and JJ are the number one and number two choice, but Hamza Chowdhury, great end to the season with Sheffield United as well last season. So he is the one I'm putting in at right back for this game. Now, up alongside him, of course, the first man on the team sheet at the back is this man, Caleb Okoli. Unfairly treated by Ruud van Nistelrooy last season, did well at times, scored a goal against Brighton, was dropped. Crazy, makes no sense. Now, I did think this guy would be leaving the club. There is still time, of course. We've still got 3 weeks of the window. It could happen. But as long as he's here, as long as he's fit, this man should be starting, in my opinion. Very, very capable defender. At championship level, I fully expect him to be in the championship team of the season come the end of the year. Now, moving on to the other centre-back. Against Fiorentina, of course, we saw this man, Yannick Vestergaard. Slightly disappointing to see him there, I suppose. There are better options at the club. There are better options on the transfer market, of course. He is very good with his feet at the back in terms of ball playing, and it is also important to remember that last time in the Championship, he was one of the best centre-backs in the league. With this system in particular, though, I think we're going to be hit on the transition quite a lot. This man is not what you need for that. Of course, there is only one man for most Leicester fans, and that is Ben Nelson. Now, he's not featured as much as I think a lot of us would have liked in pre-season. He did have a little knock as well in one of the games, so maybe that's kind of halted his progress a little bit in pre-season under Marty. But this guy and these two in particular, I think, are our best options. This is our best centre-back partnership. And this could quite comfortably be our centre-back partnership long into the future, to be honest. Even in the Premier League, you know, if we didn't get promoted, I think we could lose both of these players in one window. Ben Nelson, young English centre-back, English tax, there'll be clubs after him. Caleb Okoli on the cusp of the Italian squad. Like I said, good Serie A footballer. Mediocre, I would say, Premier League footballer. Incredible championship footballer, incredible championship defender. It's a no-brainer for me. Now, At left back, it's tough. James Justin, of course, is injured, like we said, for the right back position, so that's looking unlikely. There is also Bade Aluko, who is available. Don't forget that. He has played at left back quite a lot in his youth career, and also last season against Bournemouth in the last game of the season. I just think it will be Luke Thomas. Now, I don't think he is the answer for this season. I would much rather we utilise Bade Aluko or sign a young, exciting left back. Victor Christensen has got a broken jaw. He won't be playing. The problem with Luke Thomas, especially in this system, is he finds himself underlapping over here as part of the system, as part of the tactics, but he doesn't suit it. Technically, he's not good enough. He's not a good enough footballer, technically, in my opinion, to be operating in these spaces. But for this game, I think he will be good enough, against Sheffield Wednesday. But for a long-term solution, definitely not. This is what I think will happen, and this is what I would probably go with. Absolutely. He had a good end to last season. A lot of Leicester fans maybe going a little bit over the top with the praise for him at the end of last season. He was good. He wasn't incredible. He was better than Victor Christensen, though, no matter what Doc Quack tells you. So we're going to go with this as the back four, which is a very, very capable back four in championship level. In fact, probably the best back four. No, maybe top five. Once you throw James Justin on the left, Ricardo Pereira on the right, the best back four in the championship, in my opinion. Moving into the double pivot now. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. I think if I was to say to you 2 weeks ago, what is Leicester's best 11? Most of you would say Wilfred Ndidi in the midfield. He is leaving, though. It's all but done to Besiktas for €9.5 million. So that he will not be featuring now. That is the end of Wilfred Ndidi at Leicester City. One man I do think we are going to see is Boubacar Samari. Now, this is an interesting one. A lot of Leicester fans don't like him. Very frustrated player. Very, very frustrating player. 1 week can be Zinedine Zidane. The next, he can be Papi Mendy, although that's quite harsh on Papi Mendy because he was good at times and underrated in my opinion. But anyway, you get what I mean. Boubacar Samari, I think at Championship he rips this league apart. I know I had a little argument with somebody the other day saying, no, he won't. He won't rip it apart. It'll just be the typical Samari, one good game, one bad game. Giving the ball away, hospital passes. I disagree. In the Championship, this guy will cook. This guy will cook. He will be in the team of the season. I'm telling you now, if Bouba Samari stays at Leicester this summer, because that could still change, if he stays at Leicester City this summer and he plays at least 3/4 of the games, I think he will be in team of the season. Crazy, some people will disagree. This guy his technical ability is too good. Too good for this level. The bloke won Ligue 1, 5 years ago. He's played for Leicester in the Premier League. He played for Leicester in Europe. Yes, disappointing a lot of the time, but in the Championship, he'll be far too good. So you even saw him do a decent job in La Liga, right, when he went there, which is obviously a downgrade slightly in quality to the Premier League. Championship, he'll cook. Trust me on that one. This is what I want to see in this opening game. Now, alongside him, this is the big question in my opinion, because last season, we saw this guy a lot. Well, the first half of the season especially. That changed towards the end. Last time in the Championship, he played every single game, bar 1 or 2. I think maybe he had a suspension. I'm going to actually stray away from this, and I'm going to go with Oliver Twist, Oliver Skip. I mean, it's an interesting duo. I think in the Fiorentina game, which we all said would be a good barometer stick for Marty to kind of see what his potential best 11 could be. These two in midfield, I think, complemented each other brilliant. I think there was really good balance. Interestingly, because Samari is obviously a good, he's good on the ball, right? He can carry the ball quite well at times if he puts his bloody mind to it. But what we actually saw quite a lot was Samari sitting back here in kind of the pivot, and Oliver Skip doing a lot of the pressing. That was nice to see. You're utilising Oliver Skip's, believe it or not, young legs. A lot of pressing there. Did well at it. Won a few challenges. Won a few tackles. Won the ball quite a bit. In terms of passing, was good. Wasn't exceptional, but it was good as well. So yeah, I think this midfield, this is probably what I would like to see, and I actually think this is what we will see. I think those two did that well in the Fiorentina game that I think Marty will stick with them. Tried and tested in that game. And we're playing against weaker opposition in Sheffield Wednesday. So That's what I'm going to go with. I did not think I would be saying an Oliver Skipp and Buba Samari midfield pairing 3 weeks ago, but here we are, and I think it's the best option for this game. So that's what I've gone with. Right, moving on to the number 10, and as I said at the start about players who, as long as they're here, should start. Of course, as long as he's here, which he will be, Bilal El Khanous, our best player in terms of raw ability. Excitement, there's better. Abdul Fatawu, potentially Jeremy Monga. But this guy, he's our most creative player. He's electric. He's so good to watch. He did well again against Fiorentina. He will make things happen. He was obviously, you could argue last season in the Premier League, he operated slightly better, either a bit deeper or when he drifted out wide. In this division, though, in these tight spaces, he'll be more than capable. He'll be very, very good. Let's just enjoy him while it lasts. I don't think many of us expect him to be here come the end of the window. So let's at least have a bit of fun with him. Play him. He'll get you the win. Any team in the Championship with El Khanous, you're likely to win the game, in my opinion. He's that good. So that's why I've gone with El Khanous there. Now, the wingers speak for themselves. So on the left-hand side, of course, we have Steffi Mavididi. It was looking ropey at times. I was sold. I was convinced that Jeremy Monga would start. But Mavididi obviously played that last friendly against Fiorentina, did very well. We saw the Mavididi that we love, a Mavididi that is happy and wants to take players on and not just, a couple step overs and pass backwards. He was wanting to take players on. He was wanting to get in the box. He was wanting to get the ball in the box. And for the striker that we're going to put in, that's important, right? So Mavididi, 2 years ago, one of the best wingers in the Championship. Probably would have been the best winger in the Championship if it wasn't for Crescencio Somerville. But Mavididi has to start this game, in my opinion, especially after what we saw last time out. So he's going to be there on the left. And of course, it's a no-brainer. On the right-hand side, Abdul Fatawu. Do I just need to play the goal again? I'll play it here. There you go. That's the goal against Fiorentina that he scored. Incredible stuff. What a player. He is going to be probably our player of the season this year. He is electric. He's explosive. He's had his ACL and it's not really affected him too much. If anything, he looks quicker, which is ridiculous. I can't wait to see more of this guy this week, this season. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. He's going to score goals. He's going to get assists. Abdul Fatawu, best winger in the Sky Bet Championship. And finally, we're moving on to the striker, and that is going to be Jordan Ayew. Now, of course, we all wish that we had another option. Richard Kone's looking like he could maybe get a move to Leicester City, so maybe this will change in future. But Jordan Ayew, this pre-season, has been one of the best players, one of the most impressive players this summer in pre-season. Scored a few goals from different types of goals as well, different types of positions. He scored from a corner, for God's sake. But he's very good in this system in terms of linking up play. What you often see is him dropping in, of course, like strikers do, but also we saw him a little bit dropping into here, which then allows El Khanous to drop in here, or one of the wingers to come in. That's exciting. A lot of rotations in this system, of course. Jordan Ayew is levels above Patson Daka, which is just ridiculous to think, because he's 32 and Daka's 20, whatever he is, 26. But this man should not be anywhere near a starting 11 ever again for Leicester City. He's actually garbage. He's terrible. And impact, if you need a goal or if you're trying to see out a game for the press, then of course Daka could do that. But Jordan Ayew has to start. Now, this team, I think, complements each other really, really well. As I said earlier on with Samari and Skipp, what you'll see is when we're pressing, when we're looking to dominate the ball as well, you're probably going to see Samari drop in here and this become a type of... there you go. So kind of two advanced stakes like we saw under Enzo Maresca. That's the way I see it, especially with the press. When we're pressing as well, you could see maybe El Canoes like that, and Skip kind of doing a lot of the legwork around here. But I think in possession, this is what we will see. I think we'll see something similar to this. Now, it's not rigid like Enzo Maresca's, so we will also see things change. So when the ball's coming down the right-hand side, you could see something like this. So if Akoli passes to Hamza, Hamza's getting the ball forward, maybe a 1-2 with Tau. When this space isn't occupied anymore, Oliver Skip will drop in here, Hamza will come in here, and you've just got a completely fluid total football system. This isn't news to anybody. This is covered on our analysis shows with the nil. This is covered with your own eyes if you watch the games. This is what's been happening. Also, El Canoes, you could see something like this, where Luke Thomas comes under lap. El Canoes will operate here, becoming a ball player, instrumental in a build-up. It's exciting to see total football. A lot of this will happen. And it's extremely exciting. But if I just put this back to the team that we picked, and let's move him over there. Let's move Samari here. In a traditional 4-2-3-1, are you trying to tell me that this team isn't the strongest team in the championship already? And once you add in Ricardo, and once you add in James Justin, that is the best team in the championship. I refuse to believe otherwise. But anyway, sticking to this weekend, the team that I've picked, I think this is absolutely quality at championship level. Even if Marty decided Hermansson's maybe a little bit too close to his move to West Ham, and Jakob comes in, there you go. Another capable player, another capable goalkeeper, good goalkeeper who will be our number one for quite some time, I imagine, when Hermansson leaves. This is a championship winning squad. This is especially a Sheffield Wednesday opening day winning squad, and I'm excited to see what happens. Massive thank you to today's sponsor, Match Bingo. Over 200 grand has been paid out to players so far by taking sports betting, football and bingo and combining them into one amazing app. Make sure to get your bingo card for any Leicester City game in the upcoming season. Click that link in the description or via the QR code on screen. Now I'm happy to say we've been joined by Dan from the Wednesday Week podcast, Sheffield Wednesday fan, of course. Dan, it's been a while. We spoke back a few weeks ago or a couple months ago when Leicester were linked with Danny Roll. Obviously, that didn't happen. He's neither of our manager, which is crazy. But before we get into it all, mate, how's things with you?
Personally, great. Yeah, not so bad. Just started the TalkSport Fan Network show on TalkSport. Nice. That goes out 5 p.m. today, every Thursday. I get the adverts in, but in terms of football, it's just I can't believe the season starts for us on Sunday, and I haven't had a breath.
Yeah. It's me. I mean, from an outsider perspective, it's chaos. I mean, is that a fair word to use? Just chaos?
It's shambolic. It's a mixture of having a petulant child at the helm of the club, right at the top. Somebody who's got no real social skills and has been born into wealth and has got no real understanding of how people, how normal people interact and what they believe in and what the right way to go is. This is somebody who's clearly just had, for lack of a better term, the silver spoon in his mouth. But then on top of that, he's also quite spiteful, and he's also quite inept at what he does, because he gets spoken about as this businessman, where he's essentially just a 57-year-old man-child living off daddy's pocket money, and put all that into a mixing pot of owning a football club, which for him is essentially something to play with. We've now got the mess that we've got at the club. We've got closed stands, we've got players and back of house team not getting paid. We've got players leaving on freeze, on the cheap. Jedi Gassama has scored 3 Champions League goals since leaving us for a paltry £2.2 million. And we don't know yet if the captain is allowed to play on Sunday either.
The 2.2 million, where's that gone, do you think? Where's that money gone?
They essentially bought out Jedi Gassama's contract. We've definitely not received 2.2 million. But the players, some of the players have been paid, and the back of house team have been paid for May and June. Whether they've been paid for July or not, we don't know. But as this thing has snowballed, people are going to be sick of seeing my face, if I'm honest, or hearing my voice, because it's garnered national news over the last couple of weeks, and with something happening that up the road at Morecambe, um,
Yeah.
we've now got two clubs on the verge of going out of business, and Morecambe are further down the road than we are, and we've been watching that going. Wow, good lord, look at the state of that. And then you've got other teams such as Swindon, and they've got to close a stand, and Bromley are closing one on purpose because they're building for the future and things like that. And I think what it's done, it's brung to the fore a few conversations that we needed to have.
Yeah, yeah. I saw Keir Starmer being interviewed about it the other day, Morecambe and Wednesday, and just no answers. Just
Yeah,
telling people to sort it out. When I mean, what, you're relying on Chancery, really? I mean,
and that's
crazy.
it, right? It's a privately owned business, so we can't really tell somebody with who owns their own thing how to do it and how to spend it. But I think what this has driven home is how little power the EFL does have. There was quite a scathing article released by the EFL, a statement from them this morning in reference to Sheffield Wednesday, but which essentially read as, "Hey, now you, Mr. Man, stop being so naughty and get this sorted out, will you please?" There's been no, they've got no clout. They're like Jackie Weaver. They have no power here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but mate, this is what I keep saying. I mean, it's like with regards to PSR, right? It's like
Hmm.
they don't use the word FFP anymore. They use PSR, profit and sustainability. They're out here chasing clubs, for whatever, like Leicester, for example, and I don't know, Sheffield
Mm-hmm.
United might have been done before as well. But they're not protecting. There's no way of them
No.
protecting the clubs that really need it, and it's so sad to see. And yeah, it's a total mess. I mean, moving on to the playing squad and this weekend, so it's the opener of the championship. For a moment, I was thinking, well, the game's probably not going to go ahead, but we now know it will be going ahead. What
Mm-hmm.
what do you make to that decision, first of all? Because I've seen some bits and bobs from Sheffield Wednesday fans about protesting, and maybe some of the players should protest. What are your thoughts on the game going ahead?
The players sent a fairly robust message by not agreeing to take part in a friendly against Burnley last weekend. That was, fair play to them. But this is the league. This is what we're here for. This is the prize money. This is what we're all here to do, and things like that. So I felt that releasing a statement saying, "Yeah, we're going to play on Sunday," was great. However, the players that are available, the players that are left, we've lost some big names. Our top 5 goal involvement players have all departed the club now. We
Wow.
don't know if Barry Bannon can play because the sanctions from the EFL are that we can't now register any new players in order to try and twist Chansiri's arm a bit. But the issue is with the EFL is that the sanctions they give us harm the club. They don't harm Chansiri specifically. He's already in the quagmire. He's not getting fined. The club is, and that's where the rules need to change. Am I hanging my hat on this regulator coming in? No. Can you name me an industry where the regulator has made it better? Off gen, off com, off what? It's all a shambles, right? But in terms of this Sunday, we've still got a couple of championship level players we might be able to turn out. But over the last few years, we've not had a great time at the King Power at all. That game uh, last season, where we played you, not last season, must have been the season before, where we
Yeah,
played you
yeah.
guys, and we had a mix up at the back, and Vardy scored early, and all the rest of it. I'm worried that it might be another comedy of errors where we kind of go, oh God, good Lord. But what we need to do is make sure we cheer the players that come onto the pitch. There will be protests, there will be singing about the chairman, but I don't, there's a potential of having these young kids playing for the first time for Sheffield Wednesday, not being able to experience walking out, people cheering and chanting, and I don't want to rob them of that, if that makes sense, especially in such a big ground like yours.
Yeah, I know there's plans from Leicester fans to join in on all of the
Really?
chants, and yeah. Leicester fans, of course, because I mean, we have a moan about our owners. It's nothing in comparison
I tell you
to you
what,
guys. But
I quite controversially on my show, I went into a deep dive in Milan Mandaric's background
yes,
because he was the one that sold the club to Chansiri, and he loves a Thai businessman because
yeah,
there's no real what's the word? There's no company's house for Thailand. Whereas if you
Yeah.
get American investors and British investors, it's all there for the world to see. Thailand doesn't have that. And you now, had it not been for, I appreciate you won the Premier League and since Mandaric was involved there, but he tends to take the rumors are that he takes loans out based against the season ticket sales in the future. For you guys, it worked out short term.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For Reading, where it was where Thai investors came in, and for Sheffield Wednesday, where Thai investors came in, it didn't work. And I don't think it's any accident that the way that the Thai business industries are failing right now. We've now got 3 clubs in fiduciary trouble.
Yeah,
That's
Leicester. I
controversial,
mean,
isn't it? That's controversial for your podcast, isn't it?
well, I'll tell you what, mate. I was going to say we need to be careful with the chants on Sunday. If you've got 32,000 fans chanting Thailand out, it will sound like some kind of far right group or something.
Clip this bit. Clip this bit. We don't mean it that way. We don't mean it.
Yeah.
We're not against the country. It's the people with the lack of brain cells and cash.
Yeah.
Specifically.
I mean, you mentioned some of the players that would feature. I mean, how many of the players that you are expecting to play on the weekend, how many of them would have started last season? I'm trying to gauge how weak this team will actually be on Sunday.
We have a starting 11. Right, we still have Valerie. We know Max Lowe has handed his notice in, so whether he plays isn't going to be in the lap of the gods. We've had no real official. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah. We've had no real confirmation whether Barry can play or not. I believe he can. It's 80% there, but there's still this EFL sanction hanging over the top. Up front, we've got Jamal Lowe. We've got Charlie McNeil available, who didn't get a lot of game time last season. We also had Bailey Kadamartri. He's still available. Svante Ingolson, the big stupid sexy Svante Ingolson, he's still available. So there are players there. There is just no depth to this squad, and a lot of the players I've just mentioned, or a good chunk of them, wouldn't have been first choice last season.
I mean, in moments like this, you kind of you see people's true colours, and I mean there are some people at Sheffield Wednesday who, despite the chaos, are staying. I mean, Barry Bannon, you said, has signed a new contract, and the new manager, what Pedersen is it?
Henrik Pedersen. He was Danny Roll's number 2 last season.
So he could have left, right? But he stayed and he's taken over as manager. So, I mean, what's your take on that quickly, the manager situation? Are you happy with what's happened there? Because I know that probably by the end of it, you were sick of Danny Roll and, you know, he messing you about and all of that. Get rid.
On one hand, I do have a sympathy for Danny Roll. You know, he was working under untenable circumstances, and I feel like when he returned to work, he got told that there was going to be some changes in terms of the ownership of the club. That didn't happen. 2 weeks later, he's going back to Germany. However, with Pedersen coming in, I think the biggest thing I've got is the less disruption for the players and the club that we can cling on to, the better. You know, he was the one that took the training. He was the one that has the relationships with the players. So, you know, great. I'm okay with it, but the football's not been played yet, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, talking of the football, then let's get a score prediction from you, Dan, for Sunday, because I'm seeing some crazy ones out there. I'm seeing people saying more on the Leicester side. I'm seeing people say 5-0, 6-0. I even saw somebody say yesterday. Apparently, the championship record is 9-0. So could it be 10? I think it's a little bit too far, but yeah. What's your prediction?
Oh, I reckon you'll do us 3-0 at least. 3-0 at least. We just don't have the depth. We are one injury away from leaking goals left, right, and centre. And I think it's going to be a confidence issue. If the manager and if the captain can get everybody together and galvanise and puff the chest out, and we had Henrik Pedersen talking about the Viking spirit, great. You know what I mean? If we can come away with a draw, then that's a mega result. That is a huge result. But I feel you guys might be a little too strong for us in the current carnation that we are.
Yeah, see, I think every championship team were probably hoping to get Wednesday, right, the first game of the season, to start off with the win. But it could go the other way, mate. You know how football works. You know, with all the turmoil, it could.
I'd be a millionaire every week if I knew how football worked. It's mad as a fish in petrol.
I've gone 3-1. I think we'll pick up the 3 points. But yeah, Leicester, I don't know, just settling in under the new manager. Maybe you nick a goal. So I don't think it'll be 5 or 6.
Can you imagine that
saying.
if there's just a really poor back pass and our striker goes clean through in the first 30 seconds? We don't. I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to celebrate. That's a long time, 89 minutes to be under the cosh, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just let people know, mate, where they can find you, because there are a lot of our viewers who are always kind of looking at updates, what's going on at Wednesdays, so they'll be able to listen to you guys. So where can they find you?
Yeah, find us on X predominantly. It's at TWWcast. We also have a link tree on all of our socials as well to show you where we are. So we've got TikTok and Instagram and all the socials, the YouTubes and the whatnots. And then also don't forget the EFL Fan Network show on TalkSport 2 at 5 p.m. every Thursday.
Can you watch that back after it's been live? Can you?
Yes,
you know?
yeah, you can listen back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this will be going out about 6. So people, you can watch it.
So me plugging it. Where were you? Why weren't you listening? Or if you have been listening, welcome back.
There we go. Right, lovely stuff, Dan. Thank you so much, mate. All the best for the season after Sunday, of course. Cheers.
I'll need it.